Well, in my books and on this world tour, I will be weaving together a massive number of subjects, which on the face of it don't fit and don't connect, but absolutely do when you put the pieces together. So I will be talking about how the few control the many, to what end, how deep it goes, the background to it, and exposing that. Because if we do not expose the problem and the techniques used to manipulate us, then there are no, quote, solutions, because you can't find solutions to something that you don't know exists, or you don't know how it works. So that's absolutely, I'm going to be doing that. But the foundation, Jimmy, of everything that I've done and where I've actually always come from is the nature of reality, the nature of consciousness. And when I started 26 years ago, I got into this because I started to understand that reality was not like we were told it was, and I wanted to understand why that very credible information was not being discussed in schools, was not being discussed in the media, etc. And asking that question opened up this massive panorama of global manipulation that goes deep, deep in the rabbit hole. So that whole idea of who we are, where we are, has been the theme, the thread through everything, and will be through this world tour. And so in answer to the question, this is a time for people to start looking at themselves for answers, looking at themselves for an understanding of the nature of who they are and what we're experiencing. So instead of looking outside of themselves to quote heroes and to people to tell them what to do, tell them what to think, it's a time to start looking the other way. And that's not to say that we shouldn't respect absolutely these great people who do great work and make a great contribution to things like music and understanding. But it's a different, is a difference between respect and adulation to the point where you're giving your power to someone else. And for me, the great understanding that will change everything is when people realize that we are awareness, a state of being aware. That's it. We are infinite awareness. And the question is, how aware are we going to allow ourselves to be? Are we going to be aware enough just to perceive the five sense world and interact with it? Because that's what this conspiracy wants. It wants us locked only in five sense reality and disconnected from an influence of the greater self. And so if we're going to find solutions to what is going on, those solutions, I would suggest, have to involve removing the cause of the problem. And the cause of the problem is that people have their perceptions of self and the world systematically programmed throughout their lives. They are manipulated to focus their attention only on the five senses and the reality they can see, touch, taste, and hear, etc. And to give their power away to others because they're so focused in the five sense reality that they have lost an understanding of how powerful they really are, the infinite nature and the infinite power that everyone has. And therefore, when people fall into the five sense, what I call phantom self of I have no power, I'm just little me, they then look to others to protect them, to tell them what to think, to guide them. And it's this process of giving power away. So what I would say is absolutely respect people that make a great contribution. And you know, round of applause to them, and you know, great what they do. But you are infinite awareness, exactly the same as anyone else, exactly the same as anyone you hold on a pedestal. And for me, it's time to start realizing who we are, but where we are, the nature of the reality we're interacting with, so that we can start to impact upon it instead of having it constantly impact upon us. So we're reacting to the world instead of us making a difference and making an impact on the world ourselves. I have this line I've used for years, you know, live life and don't let life live you, which is the kind of, you know, the theme of what I've just been talking about. So this is a time of awakening from the program, awakening from the perception downloads that we're given from cradle to grave, and awakening to the understanding that, you know, the body is a vehicle. The five sense world is an illusory vehicle for a certain kind of experience. It's not who we are. What we call ourselves, our name, our life story, our race, our color, all these labels are merely experiences. They're not what we are. They're not who we are. We are infinite awareness having those experiences. And what the full foundation of this system is to get us to perceive what we're experiencing as who we are. And once we fall for that, once we fall for who we are is Ethel down the store, Joe who works in the office, then what can we perceive about ourselves except limitation? I can't, because the world of five sense experience, if that's all it is constantly telling us that everything is limited, virtually everything's impossible. And once you move your self-identity from phantom self, the fake self that we're told to believe in, to infinite self, infinite awareness having that experience, everything changes. And you start to realize that there is no little me except in the figment of manipulated imagination.